What up, what up? It's Devin Coach. Thanks for tuning into the channel. Today, I have a book review on 48 Laws of Power. This is actually, for me, it's one of the first books that really got me into reading. As consistently as I do now, I try to finish at least a book every 2 to 3 weeks. It's probably my counting audiobooks as well. This is by Robert Greene. If you've watched any of my videos, you saw the Mastery one. It's my favorite author. So let's just get into it. This is just a really good book for understanding the political realm, and a lot of times that would be the job world for most people. I know, when you're at a job, you can see certain things. Certain people are treated in certain ways. Certain people move up at different times. You can see it in classroom settings. A lot of of those artificial settings where everybody's in a group and everybody's supposed to be working together for the common good. But this kind of just lays out the obvious facts, that there's political games going on. There's things going on that you need to understand, or you could get bitten in the ass. And giving a background on the author, Robert Greene, he worked in Hollywood, and that's where he really felt a lot of these tactics, and that's where he came up with a lot of the ideas in this book. The biggest thing I like about this is just the way it's written. He has a very unique style of writing. It's written all through stories. He took a lot of history classes in college, I believe, and he also just reads them in his spare time. But he has a ridiculous knowledge of history, and he uses all the greats, Caesar, even people that you wouldn't even know, but like Caesar, Thomas Edison, Nikola Tesla, you name it. He has their stories. Picasso, Da Vinci, all them are in the book in different stories. Michelangelo, and he just shows different times when a power game was played. Somebody may have observed the law or transgressed it, and then he breaks it down, the keys to that specific law and the power in it. So to me, this is kind of like the Bible. I'm not Christian or nothing, but this is the book that I go to if if I feel like I'm caught in a situation, I don't know what I should do. Um, and yeah, you can always revert back to it. It's not even a book that you necessarily. I read it cover to cover the first time, but I don't ever read it cover to cover again. It's just if I'm in a certain situation, I see a certain law. For example, if I went into a situation and I was talking too much and I told everybody what I wanted to do, and then they thwarted me and they sabotaged me, and for some reason I don't know why, I thought everybody was nice. Why would they do that to me? And then I might go in and read it and realize, oh, number 3, conceal your intentions. I let my intentions out, and I face the consequences. Or you can observe it from somebody else. Maybe you're in class, if you're in school. I know everybody can resonate with this one that's been in any kind of school setting. There's the one kid that's always raising his hand, always trying to prove the teacher wrong, always thinks he knows best. And in his head, it's like, oh, I'm a great student, I'm a genius, everybody likes me. But then you start to realize that the class hates him, and plus the teacher starts to hate him. The teacher starts to kind of pick on them, and then they're not observing number 1, never outshine the master. So it kind of just, a lot of the things you're fed by society, that everything's nice, everything has to be nice. You can see certain things and you can use it how you want. Some people, he gets a lot of flack for being evil, but I mean, you need to know these to, one, defend yourself, and then I'll do that book review on a whole nother one. But he has no, one of the chapters, I think it's chapter 5 in 50th Law. It's you have to know when to be bad. There are certain times, we are descendants of very primitive creatures. We're descendants of apes, and that's just the biology of it. So we have this aggressive nature that's innate within us. People get into fights all the time. People get into arguments all the time. We might have sterilized it with these words in society, but it happens all the time. And it's there's sometimes where you're going to have to use one of these laws to protect yourself, and maybe you'll have to do something. Everybody bends morality in their own favor, and he's just kind of making it obvious and just accepting that as part of the human condition. Um, but I mean, the biggest things I liked about this book, I read it all the time, is it just helps you feel more powerful, more control of your life, and less helpless. Because when you can see that there's more games going on and you observe it, and you feel like you have a slight, like, understanding that other people don't, or even if other people do, you just have a better understanding for yourself of how to navigate and move, like, skillfully through the terrain of like a job world or any world where it's like a lot of people being put together and there's a lot of individual interests that are gonna inevitably be at stake, and you need to make sure your interests are taken care of first and foremost, and it kind of helps you make sure that you're not the guy that's getting stepped on. If everybody's running from a bear, you just don't want to be the last one. So it's like it helps you stay in the mix, and if you want to be first, it can also help you get to that spot. Um, and whenever like situations in my life arise that like I don't really understand what happened, or something happened and I see it happen to somebody else, I don't really get what's happening, or I'm confused. This is a book a lot of times I'll go to. I'll skim the back because the back, I mean, it's all backwards because of my Mac, but it has all here. It has like all the laws written out, so you could just real quick do 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 do. All right, that's the law that I'm having trouble with. Let me read a couple stories, read his keys to power, and then you can meditate on that maybe for a little bit and go back to your life, and you'll feel a little more solid in the appropriate action and protocol you need to take to handle that part of your life or that situation. Um, yeah, and just I'll like kind of briefly, because it's hard to review the book because it's very broken up into different laws. I'll just kind of bring out a few laws that I personally liked. I mean, I really liked number 4. It's always say less than necessary. Because for me, growing up, I consider myself pretty introverted, but like if you get me on a roll, I'll keep talking all day. And I had a big problem that I would just talk a lot, and I thought that people liked when you talked a lot, but sometimes that makes you feel weak. You might be letting out insecurities, letting out fears and different things that you really don't want other people to know, and that can be used against you in the future. And also, it makes you look weak. If you think about somebody in power, they never have to explain themselves. They never really have to give you reasons. They say it, and that's what it is. And it kind of put that in perspective for me to be a little bit more observant, listen a little more than I speak, and be more strategic in the words I use, so that my message is felt in as little words as possible. Also, 10. I mean, I'm 23, so a lot of the people I'm around, we're all at this kind of forefront, breaking point. A lot of the people I'm around that, it's all about decisions, where you want to go in life and what you want your trajectory to be. But number 10 is infection. Avoid the unhappy and unlucky. And it's like you start to see that certain people are going up, certain people are going down, certain people are staying the same. And it's like you have to, especially with this entrepreneurship shit, this lifestyle design shit, self development shit, like you got to surround yourself with other people that are on that path, because if you're not, like, you're going to get sucked into that reality, and inevitably their drama is going to fall on you. And if you want to have a successful life, if you're hanging around a bunch of unsuccessful people, I mean, it's simply just as Jim Rohn said, like, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. If you're spending your time with negative, unhappy, unlucky people, they are going to infect you. It's the law of infection. 25, recreate yourself. For me, I moved a lot. I think I moved like 11 times before I like went to university. So for me, it was kind of a law I already kind of knew, but like nobody ever put it in perspective for me, that you can always recreate yourself. You can always make a new self. So when I was always moving to these new schools, I had that feeling that I got to make a new me. But he kind of put it into perspective, and I was going through a depression when I first got this book. So like I really wanted to recreate myself and become a new person that could maybe eradicate some of the emotions and feelings I was stuck in at the time. And the last one I'll do is it was 43. It's work on the hearts and minds of others. I picked this one just because it's like it's shows that he goes on both ways. It's like some of the laws contradict each other because life is kind of a contradictory. It's the yin and the yang, you know. There's always truth on both sides, and this kind of shows that like you maybe he has some like crush the enemy totally and do shit like that, but um, what's really important is that when you're dealing with people, and this 48 Laws of Power does deal a lot with the political realm and the people realm, social intelligence. It's like you really have to like get to know people individually, like work on their heart, work on their mind, and get inside their spirit, get inside of them, so that they really appreciate who you are and you appreciate who they are, and then you'll have a lot of influence. Like it's really not all about being this dominating guy. It's a lot of things. It A lot of the things that you have to do are about being kind of like subtle, stealthy, and like leading people along gently, gently pushing them. Especially as a leader, you don't want to be like smashing people's face in the shit. Like you want people to kind of like do the inception thing. You want them to believe it's their idea. You want them to feel, oh, I just like this guy. That's why I'm doing it. It's not because he asked me. It's because this person really knows me. So I really like that law, and it really just helped me in a lot of the advice you get, especially when it comes to things even like dating advice. Like some of it will be about being honest and working through your truth, but like some of it's kind of seems a little bit manipulative. But it's like there is that aspect where it's like you can't just, it's not one or the other, but you just gotta work on really making a connection and really working on people's real inclinations and getting to know them, not just the manipulation aspect. It really is kind of a balance with that. So I mean, that's pretty much all I got for this book, 48 Laws of Power, Robert Greene. This is Devin Coates. Um, I'm going to really be trying to step up these book reviews because it really seems like out of all my videos, and I'm just starting, that these are the ones that are catching on. If anybody has ideas, you could throw them in the comments. If you liked the information, you like the content, please click the subscribe button. Once again, it's Devin Coates. Thanks for tuning into the channel. I appreciate anybody who watches to the end. Thank you. Peace out.